The name of this cute demon is Lauren. By the time she was born, demons were already on the brink of extinction. She would spend her days running wild in search of food and water until she became an adult and was blessed with a son. Holding her small little demon in her arms, Lauren is filled with joy while casually enjoying the sight of her boy Gospel playing with toys. He starts babbling and Lauren asks if he is telling the truth that he loves his mother that much. Yes, Lauren is a mother who interprets compliments that her son never said. Lauren asks Gospel what shall they play with today. After cutely thinking, Gospel grabs his stuffed dog and yells the word dog. She is shocked to hear her son already talking, so she tries to persuade him to call Mama next, but Gospel keeps saying doggy. Lauren keeps trying to make him say Mama, telling him that Mama is not doggy and he should try saying Mama now. Ultimately, Lauren gives up, thinking that maybe saying Mama is still too difficult for him. She is a little annoyed that doggy beat her to become cute. Gospel's first word. Gospel gets tired from all the talking and starts to doze off. Lauren picks him up so they can go sleep in futon. While Gospel is sleeping in her mother's arms, he blurts out the word Mama. Lauren blushes and tears of joy fill her eyes for hearing her cute demon child say the word Mama for the very first time. Lauren is overwhelmed and does not know what to do now. As Gospel finally said Mama, she is pacing back and forth. When she hears Gospel saying the word Mama again, she reconfirms that yes, she is his mama, while crying with joy and thinking that changing his diapers and offering her breasts, she is only living for the sake of her child. She forgets that her baby is still sleeping until he starts to wake up, so she apologizes and gets a hold of herself. While putting him to bed, she fell asleep too. She suddenly wakes up with a sudden chill as she felt something on her overly sensitive tail. She turns around to see Gospel wrapping her tail around him and biting on it. She tries to free her tail from him, telling him that he should not be doing this. She finally gets her tail out of his mouth. While washing the part that was in his mouth, she remembers that she already told him a long time ago that her tail alone is off limits. While blow drying her tail, Lauren wonders why it's tingly when her tail is touched. It is still a mystery. She gets back to the futon and notices Gospel's cute little tail. She lets her intrusive thoughts win and pokes on her child's tail while saying that it's payback time, and little Gospel wakes up from tingling. She takes Gospel out and enjoys the view of town from the height. She compliments the breeze, and Gospel in her arms shows his agreement by saying, oh, she realizes that Gospel has grown up a bit and he can understand her express himself. Now she heads back home asking what they shall play today. Back in the house, Gospel keeps saying UV while raising his tiny arms. Lauren understands that he wants her to hold him and make him fly in the air. She raises him up and cute Gospel starts flapping his tiny wings, and by like us, Lauren finds Gospel so cute. Later in kitchen, she notices that Gospel is not at the table, so she tries to look for him and notices his tail emerging from the corner. She smiles and grabs his tail, saying that she found him. Gospel starts crawling away to hide again, and the tail she is grabbing breaks. Lauren freaks out, but notices that Gospel's tail is still there. It did not break, but Gospel has started shedding. Gospel is crying, and Lauren runs to him asking if he is hungry and wants breast milk. She holds him in her arms and feeds him. Surprisingly, Gospel is having more than her expectations, and she is exhausted. She can't even remember the last time she slept properly. Realizing that her being a mother is tough, she looks at her son, whose cute sleeping face gives her all the strength she needs, and whispers that his mama will make sure to do her best. While Lauren is washing dishes, when she hears Gospel calling her, she turns around asking if he wants to play, but she is shocked to see her son finally standing on her legs and also flapping for some reason too. At a closer look, she realizes that he is using his tail for support too, so technically he is cheating, but who cares when he looks so cute. She sits for a while after finishing the household errands and finds herself at her limit. She starts to doze off while asking her son on what they should play next. Gospel notices that his mother has fallen asleep, so she climbs into her lap and sleeps as well. After making himself comfortable in her mother's cozy lap, Lauren wakes up, as it is morning already, and notices her hand into battle mode. Demons often unconsciously turn parts of their body into battle mode. After making sure Gospel is all right, she finds out that her leg has also turned into battle mode. What's worse is that her sharp foot finger has penetrated Gospel's favorite stuffed animal, donkey. She realizes that she is in deep trouble. Now she rushes to the toy store in her battle mode and tells the shopkeeper in a threatening way to give her a toy dog. Immediately, the owner tells her that they are out of stock. She is angry and tells him that if he does not wish to die, he should make one stuffed dog right now and give it to her before her son wakes up. The scared Owner tries to tell her that it is impossible. Somehow Lauren manages to find the exact same doggy and she hands it to Gospel, hoping that he does not find out that it's a different doll. Gospel takes a moment to carefully serve his doggy, and that moment of silence makes Lorem nervous. He hugs his toy with a big while calling him doggy, relieving Lorem that thankfully he did not realize. Just then he screams the word two, hinting that he has two doggies now. Lauren's sneaky plan failed like a cute cat. Gospel finally notices his tail and tries to chase it. Earlier his tail was small enough to remain out of his vision, but now as he can see it he tries to grab it. Whenever he turns to grab the tail, his tail turns too so cute. Gospel is just moving in circles. His mother notices him, and he finally manages to get a hold of his tiny tail, and with a very curious look he starts playing with his tail. A demon approaches a man and asks him if he has seen a demon that is living around here. She is looking for her sister who lives in this neighborhood. She tries to explain her sister Lauren's appearance to the man, that her hair and feathers are completely white, and she has a mean look. Also, she has horns like the ones on her head. She finally finds Lorem's address, so she sets out immediately. She is having troubles and imagining her sister, who was all about kill everyone, to be having a child. She is impressed by her sister having such a house deep in the mountains. She storms inside while screaming long time no, seeing a cute mother playing with her cute son with his stuffed doggy. She could hardly recognize her sister Laura. Surprised to see Miri, her sister Miri tells Lauren that she has changed a lot. She then looks at Gospel and asks if he is her child. Lorem excitingly tells her that yes, he is. Miri shares that his eyes look just like Lawrence, and she is proud to hear it and states that he is going to grow up to be just like her. The mental picture of Lorem coming back home and informing their mother that she destroyed 3 towns today makes her hope that Gospel does not turn out to be like his mother. Mary brings out the baby gift. She brought a bib for cute Gospel, who is already showing how important it is for him to use bib. When they put the bib on Gospel, Lorem could not handle how cute her baby is looking at, slams the chair on ground, breaking it in. Excitement coming back to her senses, she holds Gospel again, but his dangerous cuteness gets her again and she gets pricked into the table, breaking it into 2, while Mary is clearly disappointed in her sister, seeing her sister play with her child. Mary shares that she wants to hold him in her arms too. Lorem agrees, understanding that it is really hard to resist her child. Mary holds the tiny Gospel and starts playing with him. Gospel laughs as well over this wholesome moment with his Aunt. Mary turns to her sister, only to find a very scary expression on her face, even though Worm denies that there is nothing wrong. The anger and jealousy is very obvious on her face. Theory hands back Gospel, telling her sister that she should head home now. However, since she knows her address, now she will be coming to play with Gospel soon again. Warren gladly tells her to feel free to come whenever she wants. Just as she is about to head out, Mary remembers that she still has one more thing to say to her sister. She tells Lauren that she seems to have gotten really fat, and then runs away after making her sister extremely mad. It's bath time, and Morim tells Gospel to enter the bath so he can get all clean, sparkly. Gospel expresses his excitement for the bath time by flapping his arms. Lorem notices that her son really likes bathing, and if it were up to him, he would take it 3 times a day. They enter the tub and Gospel plays with her mother, expressing his overjoy while Lorem tells him to stop struggling. She puts him in his teeny tiny tub and grabs the brush. As she rubs the brush on his tail, the satisfaction is obvious from Gospel's face seeing him enjoying himself. Lauren blushes as well. This brush has been obtained after lots of trial and error, and Gospel was finally convinced at this one. After tail, she moves to roots of his feathers, and the long cute sigh from Gospel assures Lore that his baby is the cutest as she rests her head in the big bathtub. Feeling alive again, she notices Gospel hinting that he wants to join her as well by moving his tiny bucket towards the top. She tells him that it is much deeper for him. Nonetheless, she puts him in her big bathtub after Gospel splashes water at her and holds him in her arms. Gospel starts thrashing his wings and tail around, being overjoyed at exploring the big waters. It may seem a bit dangerous, but as long as he is happy and she is holding him, there is nothing to worry about. They get out of the bathtub, and it's time for the finishing touches. After drawing him with a towel, she dries his hair, then she uses the skin moisturizer and rubs it on his face. Afterwards, she polishes Gospel's horn, wing and tail, and Gospel really is sparkling now. Lorem is so happy to see that her baby is just as pretty as her. Meanwhile, Gospel crawls and grabs the dustbin, making it fall on him. In the mastermind, Gospel will now get another bath. Miri forgot to get Lauren's contact address, so she turns up at her place again before she gets busy playing with Her nephew, she tells Lauren that she still does not have her contact address and asks if she even has a smartphone. Lauren has no idea what a smartphone, but Miri expected that, so she already bought one for her. She tells her that it will take some time to get used to it, but first things first, she calls at Lauren's phone. Lauren starts panicking at the strange sound and image coming from this thing in her. Miri tells her to swipe the green mark horizontally. Warm complies, and using her battle mode finger, she swipes the phone into 2 parts. Mary gets her another phone, and Lauren is irritated at how difficult it is to get used to this piece of __ technology. Miri makes a mastermind move and takes Lauren's phone to take a cute picture of Gospel and sets it as her wallpaper. She shows Lauren that her screen has turned into Goken, Gospel's nickname, and Lauren immediately gets all hyped up and agrees to use this amazing technology. Lauren tells Miri that there is a troubling matter that she needs to discuss with her. Brace yourself for a bold assumption from a very loving mother. She tells her that since Gospel loves her mother so much, he might end up wanting to forever stay with her, which is not possible, so she is troubled that what if he grows up. To say something like this to her troubled Lauren is blushing while picturing her cute son grown up. Miri realizes that her love has turned into a serious illness. Mary notices that Gospel is trying to grab her tail, so she tells him that touching the tail is no good and suspects that Gospel likes wiggly things. She rolls her sleeve up and turns her arms in lots of wiggling tentacles, hoping that it might make Gospel happy. However, it freaks him out, and he starts crying. Miri apologizes for overdoing it while Lauren transforms into battle mode and tells her to watch her actions now. Lauren has a big hurdle in front of her, which is to stop her son from crying. She tries to make him happy by showing him her tail. Gospel immediately grabs her mother's tail and gets all happy again. He then starts biting Lauren's tail. Miri realizes that the crying has stopped, but her sister might be having serious trouble with her tail being handled like that. She looks at her drooling sister and praises her superb self-restraint. Miri compliments Lauren for comforting her son so easily, just as expected of a mother. Lauren tells her that it's nothing while being overly proud. She tells her that she has confined herself every day to dedicate all her time to raising her child, so it's only a matter of time before she is able to do this. Theory is confused at being confined every day, so she asks about Lauren's job. Lauren tells her that her job is taking care of Gospel. Miri inquires about the income and expenses, and Lauren reveals that a human takes care of it. Mary is surprised and asks again if she is telling the truth. Lauren does not understand why her sister is having a hard time believing it. Mary states that they are currently in the global age. The reputation of demons as a whole has gone down, so pillaging from humans is not allowed. Lauren clears up the misunderstanding that she did not mean it like that, she meant it peacefully. She is friends with the human who takes care of them, and that human is even going to bring stuff for them today. The human she talked about is on her way to Lauren's house. While checking her shopping bag and making sure all the necessary items like frozen food, refillable shampoo, diapers, etc. are in there, she enters the house and notices a new face. Lauren, who is cornered by Miri, asks her to help her. As Mary turns, the human girl sees her death stare and realizes that this is how she is going to be killed. Very asks the girl, who goes by the name Kahara, if she really is Lauren's friend, and she hesitantly replies that that cheats. While thinking about how terrifying Mary's eyes are, Shaharu shares that her place handled Gospel's delivery, and they got close after that, so she brings her food and other things. Gospel grabs Chaharu's leg, asking her to pick him up. Seeing how comfortable Gospel is with Chaharu, Mary realizes that Lauren was indeed telling the truth. Mary praises Chaharu for deciding to help raise a demon's child and asks if she is not scared of demons. Chaharu shares that at first she was frightened of both humans and demons. Her answer is cut short by loud crying of Gospel, who is angry and needs to feed. Lauren starts breastfeeding her baby, and Chaharu completes her sentence that lately she has been thinking that humans and demons are not so different. After all, Chaharu realizes that it's already lunchtime, so she ties the apron and heads to the kitchen to cook something for them. Lauren gets excited and tells her to make it super tasty. She tells the confused Miri that Chaharu is great at cooking. Miri apologizes to Chaharu as her sister is making her do all the chores, but Chaharu shares that she is only doing this because Lauren sucks at cooking. Chaharu is done and she brings the plate with stir-fried vegetables with a hint of meat. Lauren is disappointed and stares at Chaharu for cooking vegetables, as she knows Lauren hates them. Chaharu shows her on her smartphone that eating vegetables improves the flavor of breast milk, and the babies love it. Suddenly Lauren is all pumped up about vegetables and enjoying it more than anything else, while Mary is surprised at how easy it is to manipulate her sister after the lunch. Chiharu brings out something she brought for Gospel. It's a baby carrier with holes for wings and tail as well, hoping that it will become easier for Lauren to carry her son from now on. Lauren tries it, but Gospel gets suffocated as his mommy's chest is too big for the carrier to work. Even after loosening the cord, Chiharu feels sad for herself due to the difference. Lauren tries to use it differently and ties it behind her after braiding her hair, so it does not get in. The way her piggyback scheme works, and Gospel is enjoying it too. She thanks Chiharu for this amazing gift as both her hand funds are free and she can do other things while carrying him. However, her joy was short-lived as her son's tiny wiggling tail kept poking and slapping her, but Lauren takes off the baby carrier while rubbing her back, sad that her piggyback scheme did not work. While Miri plays upsy-daisy with Gospel, she points out that even though her nephew is only a baby, he is already super strong, and Laura, who just had a first-hand experience, agrees and states that he will surely become stronger than her. Chiharu states that in that case he should be raised properly, otherwise he might end up terrible like his mother. Mary fully 100% agrees. Chiharu crouches down to Gospel and tells him to grow up to be a nice boy loved by everyone. She is sure that he will be fine as Mama Lauren and Miri are doing their best. Still, they are both a bit rough, but he should not worry as she is here for him too. Gospel does not know what this lady is saying to him, but like a gentleman he gives her full attention. Laura asks what she is saying to Gospel, but Chiharu lies that she is only thinking how cute he is. Very points out that Goken is a bit heavier than before, and Lauren tells her that it's because he is growing. Mary knew what she was doing, and it's Lauren's mistake to let her cook. As Miri then asks if Worm is growing too, as she looks to have put on weight, as well. A slight breeze pushes the curtain and the ray of sunlight kisses Gospel and wakes him up. He crawls to his mother, who is sleeping so peacefully. Gospel tries to wake her up with his gibberish words, but fails. Peace did not work, so Gospel has to rely on violence now. He did not want to, but that's what the situation demands, and he is no coward to back off with perfect precision. Gospel slams his tiny hand on Lauren's eye and wakes her up. Lauren realizes that her child is an early bird. As she fully opens her eyes, she notices the bed hair on Gospel. This trendy, cute hairstyle intrigues Lauren, and she starts playing with her baby's hair while laughing at the funny styles. After she is done playing, she picks up the comb and water spray bottle to fix his hair while trying to fix his hair from sides. The cone gets stuck, and she is flabbergasted to see that her son's son has already grown a new horn. She conducts a 360-degree scan on Gospel's head. The number of horns varies from demon to demon, and Gospel has got 4 just like his mother. Moram is overwhelmed to see that they both match and could not wait to brag about it in front of Miri and Chiharu. It's a scorching summer day, and Miri is barely handling it while requesting her sister for an ice cream. Lauren tells her that it is not that hot, just a bit warmer than usual. Gospel agrees too with his iconico. Miri realizes that Loriman and Gospel are the type that generates heat, so they are fine in this weather. Just then they hear the cry of a nearly dead person who is asking for water, as humans are weak. This person dying from heat is Chiharu. There is no electric fan in this house, so Chiharu requests Lauren for at least a paper fan. She tells her that she has no idea where it went. Lauren's house mystery. Number 1, things vanish quickly. While driven to a corner, Chiharu searches for something that could keep her alive. Just then she notices Gospel, the mastermind. Kahargal picks Gospel up for upsy days, and as he flaps his wings, she finds herself a cute little fan, while Lauren yells at her to stop using her child as a fan. Miri and Chiharu go out to buy an air conditioner. While Lauren tries to find the paper fan for her weak guests, she notices a bag, which brings her back old memories. She used to carry it around a lot. Inside the bag were her old clothes with an explosion miniskirt with unnecessary belt, arm guards, socks, etc. It's embarrassing for her to look at these now, and she makes sure that her son does not see these, who is sitting behind watching his mother do random stuff. There is even more stuff inside, so she decides to organize the junk. For once, she finds the food bags she snatched from humans, but they are all expired now, so she throws them out. Then she finds a pretty shell that she found on a beach. It will make a great toy for Gospel once she snips off his horns. Then she finds this strange-looking thing. She picks up this strange thing that does seem familiar. At the center is a button that she mistakenly presses, and the device starts beat. Lauren recognizes this sound. It is from back when she attacked a town, and the humans retaliated with this anti-demon bomb. This bomb activates when it detects a demon's presence. She brought it back thinking it might be useful, but with Gospel around she should have been more careful before she could throw it out. Gospel crawls near the bomb, and it sets off. Gospel survives the blast but gets traumatized and starts crying. Lauren holds him in his arms and apologizes for her mistake, saying that Mama should have been more careful when the bomb was set off. Lauren grabbed her son and flew as fast as she could. Her Wings were caught in the blast. She keeps crying while heavily injured herself and keeps apologizing to her precious son. For being so insensible, Mary is really angry with Lorem after coming back and seeing the house crumbled into pieces. She blames her carelessness for this and yells at her that Gospel could have been killed while holding Gospel in her arms. She looks down and apologizes Mary, and Chiharu realized that Lauren would have normally responded with something like, "Shut up," but turns out the scatterbrain Lorem knows that she messed up. Leary tells her to be more careful from now on, and takes off her glasses to transform in her battle form. She tells her sister to stay still so she can heal her. Self-regeneration is very common in demons, but Mary has a unique power through which she could heal everything. Not only herself but others too. Lorem is still deeply hurt, and the only word she is repeatedly saying is sorry. Mary tells her to be grateful that she is healing her for free, as she would usually charge 10 million for just an hour. Chiharu realizes that Mary is super rich. She completely heals her sister's wounds, and then offers to do a makeover to take her mind off this tragedy. While cutting her hair, she apologizes for saying too much, but Lorem tells her not to worry about it. However, Mary notices that she is still down and asks what is worrying her. Lorem replies that she thinks Gospel hate her now. She has always been by herself, hated by humans and demons altogether, and now Gospel too. She is scared to death just by thinking that Gospel might hate her. She failed to protect him and put him through that danger. She is the one who made him cry, even though she did not want that. She just wants to be a proper mother to Gospel. Mary tries to cheer up her crying sister by telling her it will be all right, and if Gospel sees her depressed, he will become anxious too. Lorem asks if Gospel will her another chance, and Mary tells her that of course he will. So chin up, Mama. Mary is all finished, and Lauren looks even more cute with the short hair. Gospel wakes up as well, and as he stares silently towards his mother, she gets anxious. Meanwhile, Chiharu and Miri are nervous that Gospel may not recognize his mother with this new look. With a glowing smiley face, Gospel extends his hand towards Lorem while saying Mama. Lorem is extremely delighted, and she asks him to forgive her and give his terrible mama another chance. With tears in her eyes, she promises that she will raise him properly and be the best mama Gospel could ever wish for. A week has passed since that unfortunate event, and currently Lauren and her son are living in a room that Miri procured until they make new plans. Gospel is casually playing with his donkey, while Lauren is reading the book Butter, the Mother's Manual for Raising a Child. In the baby food section, she reads that carrot paste is the first step away from breast milk, so she decides that she will ask Chiharu to make it. Suddenly she remembers her promise to be the best mama, so she changes her decision and decides that she will make it herself with her guidebook in one hand and carrot another hand. Warm daydreams of how her son will be overjoyed by her amazing carrot paste with that warm versus carrot begins. The first step is peeling the carrot. She starts to carefully peel the carrot, and when she reaches the half point, the carrot breaks into two, immediately transforming into battle mode. She smashes the carrot on ground, yelling and cursing at it for breaking. However, she realizes that she should not lose her temper and stay calm. She picks up another carrot and starts carefully peeling it until that one snaps too. After 2 hours of strenuous effort and tons of errors, she finally manages to make a masterpiece. She tastes it, and the paste still tastes like carrot, so it must be okay. With a proud face, she approaches her son to have her taste this masterpiece. She tells him to open his mouth, and after carefully observing the spoon extending towards him, Gospel honors it with a demon smash. After a few tries, Gospel finally caves and eats the masterpiece. The shuddering and his obvious expressions make it clear that he hates it. Lorem gets sad that even after trying her best, she could not make it right. However, she sees Gospel saying, while opening his mouth wide, Lorem's face lights up as she sees her son wanting more, meaning that he did like it. The expressions and shuddering were same again, but Gospel, like a gentleman, kept eating until Mary arrived. Mary is surprised to see that her sister made this baby food. What's more surprising to her is that it looks like the real thing. Lorem is immensely proud, and she even brags that she read the guidebooks to become a better mom as well. She gives an example that saying good night or good morning makes baby adopt a healthy lifestyle. Also, the book says to be firm when the baby tries to be mischievous. She gives a live interpretation by dragging the TV remote out of Gospel's mouth and looks him in the eye, telling him to don't do this. Mary notices that Lorem is avoiding his gift, and turns out her baby is too cute to be scolded. Lauren rolls on floor with tears upon her incapability to scold him. At this rate, she is afraid that he might end up becoming a delinquent. She mentally pictures his smoker son stepping out of home while paying no attention to her and calling her __. Her rolling on floor speed increases. Says she does not want her son to become a bad boy. Meanwhile, Miri is thinking how her sister's delinquent image was just like her own past. She gathers all her courage to scold him. She picks him up, and with an angry expression she strictly tells him not to put anything in his mouth. Gospel is first shocked, and has the words soaked in his tears start. To come out scolding did not work, and now she has a crying baby. Seeing him cry, Lauren starts to cry as well. Lauren is again worried that her son might hate her. Now Miri reads the book to her that the most effective technique is to follow up with a hug. After scolding, she hugs Gospel while telling him that she is not mad at him anymore. Gospel squeezes her shirt and clings to her while crying, showing how much he loves her. Mormon notes it down to hug after scolding. Shaharu got scolded by a customer again at her job today. This has been happening a lot lately, and she just wants to go home. Suddenly, she receives a call from Laura. She sneaks out of the store to take out trash and picks up the call. Laura asks Shaharu for help after her shift ended. She rushes to Lauren's house to find her all red and covered in a blanket. Turns out Lauren caught a cold. Shaharu brought cold medicine for her, even though it is for humans, but at least something is better than nothing. Shaharu is surprised that Lauren looks so tough, yet so weak. Lauren is worried about Gospel catching her cold. Shaharu puts her to bed and tells her not to worry as she will look after him. She leaves the room, picks up Gospel, and tells him that mommy is sleeping, so let's play till she wakes up. Meanwhile, Lauren tries to sneak out of her room to check on her son, but Shaharu scolds her and sends her back while playing Gospel suddenly starts cry. Shaharu gets the hint that he needs a diaper change. Now she perfectly changes his diaper and Gospel starts crying again. That means he must be hungry. Shaharu cannot breastfeed him, so she feeds him the powder milk. She has been reading books about parenting to Lauren, and as a result she learned a lot too. However, Gospel seems to be happier when Laura missed taking care of him. She is enjoying taking care of this baby so much that it makes her want to have one too. That reminds her of her zero romantic experience, and she is depressed again. She lies down and starts talking to the little Gospel, sharing how she has it rough every day. She tells him that when he becomes an adult he will have to work like everyone else and will get yelled over the tiniest mistake. She shares that all she wants is for people to be a little nicer. Gospel, the gentleman, knows exactly what to do, so he gets near Shaharu and starts playing with her hair, which cheers her up. She praises him for being so nice and predicts that he will be popular with girls when he grows up. Lauren is woken up by a phone call from her sister. She apologizes for not noticing her call earlier as she caught a cold. Mary asks if her veins have become black and swollen. She checks her hand, and that is exactly what happened, as it is a symptom of cold, but Mary tells her that it is not cold, it's demonitis, as demons don't catch cold. Mary strictly tells her not to invite Shaharu over, but Lauren shares that she is already here. Meanwhile, Gospel is crying in front of the unconscious Chihar with black and swollen veins before Mary and Shaharu were having lunch when Shaharu starts to praise Miri out of nowhere, saying that she is a demon. Still she can blend in and live among humans. She is a human, yet she could not fit in even at her job. The only friend she has is Miri and Lauren. Miri tells her that humans are still afraid of her, so Shaharu is her only friend, which makes her special. Shaharu is glad to hear that she is special. Demonitis is an illness caused by a mutated virus in demon bodies. Since the demon's number has declined, such human infection cases are rare. This infection is highly aggressive and incurable. Shocked Mary is standing over the infected body of Shaharu, trying to think of some way to save her. Laura asks if there is something she could do, but Mary yells that she is thinking right now. Still panicked, she could make her a new body with herself, cut off her head and transplant it, but the virus will multiply from the original tissue again. There is no known cure, and nor is there time to search for one, as Chaharu's body is dying every second. Just then it hits her. A human body cannot survive demonitis. If the problem is with human body, then she could use hers. Miri transforms into battle demon mode and apologizes in advance, as what she is about to do may hurt like hell. Lauren realizes what she is about to do and gets nervous. Miri is also nervous, as she has never done this before. She starts to open holes in Chaharu's body and then serve her tentacles as pipelines, connecting Chaharu to her after putting one in her mouth. As well, she has fully connected her body to Chaharu's body, and now she can purge the virus through her own body, so Chaharu is safe now. Lauren is happy, but then Theory states that when Chaharu wakes up she will have to apologize to her, as she did something selfish to save her. Lauren is confused, as it was her fault that she got infected. Yet Mary is the one looking to apologize. She shares that Chaharu and her being connected means that a human and demon's body merge together, so when she wakes up she may no longer be a human, while crying that she had to go to such limits. She wishes that Chaharu remains a human. Miri wakes up from a nice breeze and realizes that it's already nighttime. She is covered with a warm and comfy blanket, and a warm hand is resting on her head. She turns around to see that she is Sleeping in Chiharu's lap, who is already conscious, she gets happy until she notices that Chiharu's hair has turned black like hers, which means that she has turned into a demon. Miri starts apologizing. Miri is in tears, trying to justify that she did not want to turn her into a demon, but her selfishness did not allow her only friend to die as well. She was lonely before, and she did not want to go back to that awful feeling. Chiharu shushes Miri, hugs her, and thanks her for saving her life. She shares that Lorum has already told her that she did everything possible and was worried that she might turn into a demon. However, she does not have horns or wings or a tail, so she is still human from every angle. Her hair used to be originally black, and her healing turned it back into its original state. Miri still makes sure that her only friend does not hate her, but Chiharu tells her not to worry as she is the one who saved her life. Meanwhile, Lorm is standing outside the room to give them space, hoping that they get back to normal when she peeks inside. She notices both of them resting their heads against each other and sleeping under one blanket. So everything turned out great. The next morning, Chiharu wakes up and notices the sisters having a serious discussion on the dining table. She says good morning to them, but Miri does not reply, and with a dead serious face, she tells Chiharu that they need to talk. Chiharu is confused and a bit scared as well, because the sisters have never been this formal. Sounds of rain are making the scene more intense. For her theory gets straight to the point and tells Shira that they should cut ties. Chiharu has always been kind to them, and they do not want to hurt her any further, so she should not come here anymore. Chiharu is startled. Miri adds that if she still tries to keep contacts with them, they will leave the town. Chiharu could not believe what she is hearing, so she turns to Laura, who might put some sense in Mary asking that. Doesn't she need her around? Lauren looks down and states that she relied too much on her, pushing everything that she could not do on her, which is unfair, so she will do her best from now on to raise gospel by herself and get better at everything. She lacks gospel. The gentleman reads the room and is just as sad. Theory shares that Chiharu is born a human, so her existence isn't wretched like them, so she should live more freely, and they are even envious for that, but they don't want to hold her back. Chiharu is shocked and angry at the same time, so she gets up, slamming her chair to the ground, and leaves the house. Warm apologizes to Miri as this is all her fault, while Mary tells her that it was bound to happen sooner or later. The heavy rain reminds her that the sisters used to take shelter in ruin and buildings during the rain back then. They are worried that Chiharu just recovered from an illness and stormed out without an umbrella. Miri suggests Lorum to move into her place, as there is no reason to stay in this town. Just then the door slams, and at the door is soaked Chiharu. She slams the application form of a college on the table that stated something like human-demon symbiosis. Miri and Lauren have no idea what this is. Chiharu then shares that she has made up her mind she will get into this university and bridge the gap between humans and demons. Chiharu has been searching for a college that offers a major on coexisting with demons. However, the standard admission score is over 70. And it is as difficult as getting into a medical school, so she could never enroll through her grades. But there is also another way she could get into this university if 2 or more adult demons recommend her. Miri confirms that Chiharu is saying that she will interact with demons for the rest of her life. She tries to convince her that she will be much better off if they parted ways, but Chiharu does not want that. She is determined to take this course so they can stay together, and in future they might be able to find a proper cure of infection. She dropped the plan earlier, as keeping up with classes might be hectic, but she has now decided to try Somir, and Lorum should help her learn more about demons. Weary Lorum and Gospel are amazed at the limits she is going to for them. She never regretted meeting them, and there is nothing wrong for them to be together, as she enjoyed every moment with them. She is going to prove that humans and demons can live together. Lauren puts a towel on her head while praising that she has never met a human like her before. She tells them to be prepared, as she is going to write essay on helping Lauren to raise gospel, and if he gets sick again, she is counting on Mary. She knows that they are feeling guilty, so they should take responsibility until she passes the exam. Mary smiles, and if that's her decision, she will fully support it. The sisters promise that no matter what lies ahead, they will always protect her. Chiharu asks that if Miri's power is healing with pluripotent cells, what is Lauren's power? Lorm shares that her power is generation. By heating up her claws, she can cut through anything. The word anything intrigues Chiharu, and she asks up to how many degrees can she generate heat. However, Lorem is confused, as she has never thought about measuring it. Mary responds that according to humans' observation, her radiant heat alone was near 1,000 degrees. Even if she gets mad right now, the whole area will burst into Flames including Mary herself, and Chiharu the only one safe around her would be the gentleman Gokhan as he is. The same type Chiharu shares that even though they are sisters they are totally different before she could ask another. Question Gospel starts crying and wakes up Lorum holds him in her arms apologizing for waking him up and he immediately stops crying once he is surrounded by her mother's warm arms. He gets so comforted that he goes right back to sleep. Chiharu praises Lorum for being so good at lulling Gospel. Chiharu has always been hearing complaints from mothers who find it really hard to send their babies to sleep, so she asks what makes her different after some thinking. Lauren shares that back when she and Miri were kids they used to sleep in abandoned ruins that are not technically safe, so she would stay awake all night to keep watch until one day when her night routine changed. Iri walks up to Lorum cry and holding her half-torn cute teddy in her arms and asks her one chan if she could sleep with her tonight. Lorum tells her to come closer. Since it cannot be changed, Miri rests her head on her big sister's lap and falls asleep immediately while Lorum smiles while looking at her sister's comforted face. Since then it started happening every night. Chiharu finds it really cute, while Mary tells Lauren to stop sharing embarrassing stories. Chiharu asks why they didn't have anyone else to protect even during their childhood. Theory responds that demons never stick together due to lack of trust amongst them. Lorum nods along saying that even if anyone tried to approach she would chase them off. Miri reaffirms her answer, stating that back in the days Lorum used to be an unmatched strength. Strong demons from different places would come over just to challenge Lore, but they all were defeated. It was rumored that whoever looked directly into her eyes meets her demise. Miri shares that Lauren was given the name Annihilating Inferno. Worm yells at Mary for calling her that, but Miri shares that she used to look so smug whenever someone called her Annihilating Inferno. Miri does not stop and starts sharing other names that were given to Lorum, such as 4 Emperors of something. Lauren bows down to the ground begging her sister to keep all this a secret from Gospel. Sadistic Miri feels tempted and keeps going until Lorum apologized and promises to never bring up that crying during night story. Viri asks again if the goddess of destruction will abide by his promise. Meanwhile, Chiharu gets scared as Lorum is much more terrifying than she thought. Miri wakes up Lorum, saying that it's already morning. They are currently living in an abandoned broken house, which according to Lorum is a very nice sleeping place, and she will be living here for a while. Leary tells her to be careful this time as she set her last home on flames while she was drowsy. Lorum gets angry and tells her to forget about it already. The tiny worm then heads to river to wash her face while still half asleep, and Miri flies off to look for breakfast. She finally finds some tasty grapes, which she plucks out hoping that her sister gets happy to see these. As she flies back, she notices her sister dragging a board that she killed on her way back. She still praises little Mary for bringing the fruits, while Mary is wondering who starts their day with the meat. Lorm suggests we're building the house to make it comfier, and since the inside is more spacious than their expectations, they decide to divide it into 2 parts. She uses a rock to draw a line, and at the other side of line is Miri's room, who gets really happy on getting her first own room. Miri decorates her window with a flower pot, while Lauren drags twigs and leaves to make a bed out of them. Weary is surprised at her sister's intelligence for gathering more flammable things around. The sisters are casually chatting when Lauren hears a strange sound and tells Miri to go hide behind her. Is an assassin with a long sword who shares that he heard many rumors about her but is disappointed to see that she is just a kid. He asks why she is not helping her fellow demons and instead fighting against her own kind. Her power is still incomplete for now, but she is sure to become a great threat in future. If humans utilize her powers, if she agrees to help, then she will be spared. If not, he is going to kill her right here. Lorm transforms into her demon form and replies that she does not care if the one she is fighting is human or demon, as she does not trust any single one of them. He charges at her and swings his sword with full power. Lorm intentionally lets him hit her head and smiles when his sword, instead of cutting through her head, starts melting due to her immense heat generation. The assassin falls back, but Lorm immediately smashes him onto the ground under her foot. She changes back to her normal form and starts kicking the assassin while asking where his fighting spirit has gone now. Meanwhile, the assassin remains on ground acting dead, while Mary heals him a bit and scolds her sister for overdoing it. Lorm, on the other hand, is happy to relieve stress. Mary shares that her sister is really strong, and because of that many demons are coming after her, which is getting troublesome. Lorm responds that it's the opposite, as Mary is the one with the power of healing wounds, so she is much stronger. However, Mary knows that if she gets into a fight, she will be defeated immediately. Still, being a sister of such strong demon, maybe she can get stronger as well. She gets all motivation and unleashes her tentacles to get the special training. However, she ends up entangling herself and starts crying for help. Cute little Mary stares at her sister's tiny wings and compliments that her wings are really beautiful, and she is jealous when Laura asks why she thinks so. She responds that the white color and fluffiness makes them really cute, while her wings, on the other hand, are scary black, not at all fluffy, and even has Fans growing out of them, Lauren gets nervous and tries to console her sister by saying that this is only because Miri's wings have a very adult image and will surely look better when she grows up. Lauren smiles and believes her Oni. Lauren notices that her clothes are torn and now she needs new ones, so she heads out shopping with her sister too. The junkyard bragging that she can find all different things at the places where humans leave their things behind. She starts searching and finally finds a top and bottom set. She wears what seems to be a schoolgirl's uniform and looks really cute kawaii in them. She tells Mary that she will give the next clothes to her. As she is keeping these, she tells Mary that she has brought along another thing that she found, which is a stuffed teddy bear in a great condition. She knows her sister likes such stuff. Mary finds it extremely cute and immediately hugs the teddy and thanks her sister, promising to treasure it forever. Lauren is happy that her sister likes it. Mary sits with her new teddy and introduces herself to her new friend. Then she introduces her sister to Teddy, saying that she is normally nice, but he should stay away from her when she is in a bad mood, as she might burn him. Lauren leads Miri to where the river flows slowly and the water is clean to take a bath. Miri gets excited as she lives bathing, and after tossing away her clothes, Lauren jumps in the water like that Sunder girl. Miri joins her sister when she turned the normal river water into a hot spring through her heat generation power. Notice the cute wings floating behind Laura. They enjoy a good bath until Lauren sees today's dinner joining them, the many fish that got boiled through the heat. It's completely dark now and Mary is already yawning, so Lauren suggests her to go to sleep while she keeps a lookout while Mary is trying to sleep with her cute teddy in her arms. She asks Lauren that why is it that there are a lot of humans around but only a few demons. She adds that she is jealous and wants demons to have friends and family like humans as well. She also wants to become a wife someday and have a child and live in a beautiful house with a beautiful garden. Lauren simply laughs, saying that she has quite a number of wishes. She looks at Miri, who is asleep now, and thinks about her wish of having a friend and a child, which is so impossible that she cannot even imagine it. Lauren then slowly opens her eyes to see Gospel's cute face right in front of her. She tells Gospel that his mama had a long dream about her past, and Gospel gives a meaningful answer with the wise words "oo." Upon hearing Miri's loud laughter, Lauren runs over to the room from kitchen and asks what happened. Gospel is using his tail to try to stand up, and Mary finds it really cute. That is why she was laughing. Lauren smiles as her cute son is on fire today. As he tries to take a step forward, he slips and falls on the floor. Being a boy with sheer will, he stands once again and to try, but ends up falling again. Moreover, he made this a game and is enjoying it now. They notice that Gospel is trying to take his first step, so to motivate him, Lauren opens her arms and tells Gospel to come to mommy. Gospel gets back up, wobbles, and gets closer to Lauren. He falls again, gets back up, wobbles, and gets even closer to Laura. However, Miri notices that Gospel is still at the same spot where he started, and it's her Baka sister, who is sliding closer and closer to her son. Lauren picks him up and praises him for a great job, as even just trying to walk shows that he has grown. Gospel is tired from all the hard work and falls asleep in his mama's arms. As she is about to put him to bed, Chiharu and Miri tell her to look at Gospel's back. His wings and tail are turning black as he is changing into demon form for the first time. This state of demonification is when a demon is in battle mode. His physical strength increases dramatically while stamina gets lowered. Demons often change forms while sleeping. The ladies are impressed from Gospel's tiny hands and feet getting weaponized. Moreover, his tail and wings have also changed forms. Such a strong battle mode assures Mary that this indeed is her sister's son. She adds that since Gospel is this strong, they will need to properly teach him self-control so he can coexist with humans. For now, Lauren spreads her wings and decides to celebrate Gospel's growth with a party. Chiharu when Miri head out to buy supplies. Meanwhile, one of Lauren's feathers is caught by a demon sitting on top of a pole nearby. After Chiharu and Miri leave, Lauren makes a black tea for herself as she has caught a cold that reminds her of taking out Gospel's winter clothes. Just the imagination of cute little Gospel and little Fluffy Socks is making Warm lose control. The demon on pole is observing Warm from the window. Suddenly, Lauren disappears from his sight with the cup of tea still in her hand. Lauren appears just beside the demon with long tail and asks what he is doing here. She has already switched to battle mode and attacks the demon, making him lose consciousness with just a single hit. Even though he tried to use an ice shield to block it, it was in vain. She takes him back to her house. Leary and Chiharu are already back. When he wakes up, Lauren inquires about the purpose of his presence and states that she only pulled her punch so he would be alive to answer. The cute demon hesitantly stutters that a while ago when he was cold, Lauren saved him. Chiharu is interested in witnessing a life debt while Mary and Laura are trying to place. One more who only knows to kill save this demon that reminds Lauren that a long time ago she found a little kid who was about to freeze to death because he could not control his power. She was able to thaw him out with her flames she used. To have a hard time controlling her powers, too, she gets all happy to know that this kid survived and is now safe. And grown-up Shaharu is shocked to know that demons can get killed by their own powers. Miri confirms this fact by adding that those who develop their powers at early ages often find their body unable to withstand the power. Demons are at constant risk until their powers stabilize. That is why it's lucky for Goken and Lauren to have the same type of power the demon shares. That he heard a rumor that Lauren had a kid. She responds that she did have a super cute baby. Gospel, however, like him, Gospel cannot control his powers, yet so she is worried what to do. He offers to pay her back by cooling down Gospel whenever he loses control of his power. Laura agrees and takes him to Gospel's room. However, Gospel has just started demonification, so he cannot really produce heat, yet he gets sad as he came too early and still has to wait a little longer to pay Lauren back. Laura asks for his name, and he shares that it's Fuba, so Mary names him Fugakon. However, Lauren and Shaharu refuse to go along with the nickname that Miri gave, which makes her feel dejected. Fuga stares intently towards Gospel and then towards Lauren. After fully observing, he concludes that they both look very alike. Warren gets excited and adds that they have just the same eyes. Fuga looks at Gospel's wings and shares that he looks strong. Lauren responds that she thinks the same, and Gospel will surely become stronger than her someday. The next compliment from Fuga is that Gospel is so cute. Meanwhile, Chiharu is surprised to see how well they are getting along. Fuga then turns towards Chiharu and starts sniffing and taking a 360-degree scan of her. Chiharu starts trembling with fear while Fuga shares that she seems to be different. He guesses that Chiharu is a human and gets amazed as this is the first time he has seen one up close. He immediately befriends Chiharu after asking for her name. Meanwhile, Mary realizes that it's easier to get along with humans if the demon is unaware of all the animosity. Very asks Fuga where he is from, and he raises his hands in excitement and shares that he is from Mount. When Lauren first met Fuga, it was really far into the mountains. He adds that since he cannot fly, it took him 3 days on foot to get here. Since he came from far away, Mary proposes that he should stay here. She shares a room for him while Chiharu is convinced that Miri is loaded with cash. While Miri and Chiharu head off to show Fuga his room, Lauren smiles and Gospel and shares that he has another friend now. Meanwhile, Mary asks Fuga what type of room he wants, and Fuga replies that he would like a room with fishes. Fish are tasty. Just a little while ago, Lauren did not have any friends because she is not a very nice person. She advises Gospel to be nicer, so everyone likes him this way. He will have a lot more fun. Chiharu enters Worm's room and greets her, but Lauren tells her to lower her voice as she just put Gospel to sleep. Lauren shares that every once in a while she lets Gospel sleep on her wings. Shiera gets closer to have a better look at this feather bed, which combined with Goken looks very cute and comfy. Lauren takes pride in her intelligent idea and adds that Gospel likes to pull out her feathers when she is not looking, in her wings always end up covered in his drool, but what matters is how cute he looks sleeping on her feathers. Shahar notices that one of her wings is still available, so she dives into that one. Her expressions clearly indicate how comfortable Alarm's feathers are, and shares that she is only trying to gain experience for her college admissions. Lauren hesitantly asks if she's getting too comfortable, but Chiharu replies that she is only trying to learn how Gospel feels. After a few minutes, Lauren gets annoyed and tries to keep Chiharu from falling asleep, while Chiharu is already enjoying her nap in comfy featherbed. Mary has finished setting up Fuga's room and introduces him to his new place. Fuga is impressed of his very own private space. Mary then leaves him to his room, saying that she will be next door in case Fuga needs anything. While she is enjoying her tea, she hears strange sounds from Fuga's room. She tries to ignore the noises until curiosity gets the better of her, and she decides to have a look in his room, just a peek in his room, and the floor is already dirty with different stuff like oil drum present in his room. She opens the door. In there, Fugit sitting on floor twisting a smaller wood stick on a log to make fire for the fish he caught. The bonfire preparations are already complete, and the only step remaining is lighting up a fire. Mary snatches away the wooden stick and scolds him for cooking these in his room, while Phoebe gets sad, but then understands that Mary wants him to eat them raw. Mary then introduces intelligent Fuba to the stove where fire can automatically come out, and realize that she will have to take care of him for a while. Miri arrives to play with Gospel when Laura notices that she is wearing a new outfit. Chiharu is surprised as Miri mostly wears black. Miri responds that she is trying to change her look by trying out a white outfit. By barely containing her excitement, she asks if it suits her. Chiharu's attention is diverted to something else, and Miri mistakes the word big for her dress and shares that She likes to wear comfy, oversized clothes. She then shows a gift she brought for Gospel some cute winter clothes for cute Gospel. They immediately dress him up in Goken sparkles. In his furry little jacket, Lorem loses control. Upon seeing how cute her son looks, and starts throwing the furniture around, Miri has also brought a shirt with fish. Picture for Fuga, but she had shares that he's out there somewhere catching fishes. Shaharu suddenly hears a snap sound and looks down to see what she stepped on. Turns out it's one of Lauren's feathers, and the floor is full of it. She confusingly asks Lorem if she is sick since a bunch of her feathers are coming out. Lorem reveals that it's the time of year when her feathers fall out so the new ones can grow, and just like a bird, it's her molting season. Miri reveals that Lorem has gotten a lot better, as she always used to lash out at humans and other demons during this season. Lorem starts to clean up the feathers when they hear Gospel's excited voice by holding 2 feathers like swords in each of his tiny hand. Gospel is waving them around and having a lot of fun playing with them, even more than he does with his donkey. Meanwhile, Lorem has a smug on her face for finally being able to beat the doggy. Just then one of the feathers wiggle his nose, and the sneeze combined with his drool makes the feather stick to his face, which makes him look even cuter. While shivering due to the cold breezes of winter, Chiharu arrives at Lorem's place and questions her dressing. It's already winter and Laura is still wearing shorts and a down-shouldered shirt. Her house is also not heated, so Chiharu asks how she is surviving. Lauren reveals that with her heat generation power, she can make everything piping hot, which makes Gospel want to cling to her even more. So winters are the best. She further flexes her power by showing how she can warm up cruelty in an instant. Very arrives while whining about the cold weather and immediately cling to her older sister. Since Lorem can act as both sister and comfortable heated mattress, Mary begs her to help her out. For a while, Lorem agrees, and now Miri is resting on her lap while Mr. Goken is still asleep on her wing. While she tries to get rid of Miri, Chiharu gets jealous and decides to use the empty spot at Worm's right. Meanwhile, Fuba has managed to catch another fish with his sheer wool and determination. As the saying goes, Fuga once killed 3 fish with just a pencil. Chiharu observes something new while Mary is sharing a story and compliments Miri for having pretty incredible teeth. Mary gets nervous as showing off her teeth is embarrassing, but Chiharu forso opens her mouth and praises for how every single tooth is super sharp and figures that a bite from her must really hurt. Chiharu then proceeds to compliment her lips, but thankfully the scene ends here. Miri holds Gospel and notices that he has gotten much heavier than before. They realize how quickly he is growing. Not only has his size increased, but he also has horns now, and he already had his first demonification. Lorem realizes that soon Gospel would be able to walk on his own and won't have to drink her milk anymore. With this thought, her excitement turns into loneliness, but she gets a hold of herself, saying how she cannot wait for Gospel to be big enough to wrap his arms around her. Mary season opportunity. Mary seizes the opportunity by saying that if she wants that to happen soon, she needs to lose some weight. Lorem tells Chiharu to watch Gospel. While she uses the bathroom, she notices that cute Gospel is trying to cutely itch his head with his small hands. She helps him by scratching it for him, and the utter satisfaction on Gospel's face shows how good he feels. Just then something comes in her hand, and it turns out to be tiny Gospel's tiny horn. Confusingly, she looks at the horn, then at Gospel, then at horn, and then at Gospel again. She finally realizes what she has done, and now she is trembling with fear, imagining the scary Lorem in her demon mode. Infuriated with her, she acknowledges the moment of truth by accepting her death. Lorem comes back, and Chiharu stutters that Goken's horn came off. However, the response from Lorem is totally opposite from what she was expecting. Lorem tells her that it happens all the time when demons are growing up, and a new horn will grow pretty soon. Seeing Lorem indulged in some deep thoughts while staring at the broken horn, Chiharu asks what she is thinking about. Lorem replies that she is happy to be holding the first ever horn Gospel loss, but the thought of him growing up is making her feel lonely. Chiharu asks what they do with the horns that fall off and gives the example of humans' teeth that are either buried in ground or thrown off roof. Warren tells her that she is not going to throw away something so precious and wants to keep it with her forever. That's when Chiharu suggests turning this horn into a necklace. Lorem is impressed with the idea, so Chiharu suggests asking Miri for help. Lorem shows Chiharu that a new horn is already growing, and Chiharu is relieved to see a tiny little horn peeking out of his head. Lorem shares that in 10 days the horn will be just as big as it was when it fell off. While cutely imitating horns with her fingers, Chiharu asks that the new one will fall out as well. Lorem gives an affirmative answer and responds that in about 3 months he will have a totally new set. When Lauren was a kid, all 4 of her horns fell out at once, and her head felt so light that she couldn't even walk straight. Mary's reaction didn't make it any easier. Either. Chiharu enters in this well-decorated, luxurious house that Belongs to Miri. She apologizes for sudden visit and states that she needs her help to turn Gospel's horn into a necklace. As she does not have a drill, she is unable to put a hole in it. Mary tells her not to worry and brings a tray of fine tea. She reveals that Chiharu is the first ever visitor she has had, so she presents her best cheesecake as well. After enjoying the food, they decide to get to work, and Miri has everything they need to make a necklace. Miri praises Chiharu's idea of horn necklace, saying that she would have never thought of something like this. She adds that being able to carry something precious is the best. Meanwhile, Chiharu is thinking about her dunk pose when she first suggested to throw it on roof using her cells. Miri puts a tiny hole into the horn. She shares that she has always been fond of handicrafts. This reminds her of her childhood days when she made a wreath and was praised by Lauren with a head pat. Since then, she has always loved handmade stuff. This reassures that asking Miri for help was indeed a great idea. With that, the necklace is ready. They present the necklace to Lauren in a gift box, and even though she was already expecting, she acts surprised and is astonished to see how pretty it is. She immediately puts it on her neck and thanks them for this amazing gift. However, her chest starts to feel the weight of horn, and now she is on the floor trying to convince herself that even this pain is precious. Miri dresses up as the cutest and hands down the hottest scent and arrives at Worm's place with a loud Merry Christmas. Her excitement is ruined when Fuga and her dumb sister with a cute kid has no idea what Christmas is. She still likes her outfit, though Miri shares that Christmas is the day of year when an old man with white beard named Santa Claus brings presents to all good children. Fuga gets excited as he wants a special gift, something tasty that lives in water. Meanwhile, Worm is upset as she hasn't been a good kid, so she might not get a present. A question pops up in Chiharu's mind, and she asks if it is okay for demons to celebrate a holy night. Mary's confused look makes her realize that she just indirectly called demons evil, so she retracts her question. She then guides Lore that it's the duty of parents to get Christmas presents for their kids, as Santa might not be able to visit every child. Lauren gets excited and starts drooling just by imagining her slightly grown-up son's happy reaction upon getting a gift. Miri has already brought a cute kitty cake, so Lauren takes a tiny portion of it in a spoon and feeds to Gospel after processing all the nutrients, flavors, stuffing, puffiness, and everything. Gospel, like a Gordon Ramsay, gives a green signal with a cute smile. Meanwhile, the adults enjoy their big kick, and even though it is not shown, we somehow know that Fuga is thinking how a fish cake would taste like. Miri is glad to finally spend the Christmas with others, as she had to eat the cake alone last year. Meanwhile, Lorem is so happy to see Gospel enjoying that she suggests celebrating Christmas every week. What's the best thing to do after stuffing yourself? No, not a walk. The right answer is sleeping, abiding by the rules. The gentleman Gospel falls asleep in his mother's soft arms. Mary whispers to Lorem to put Gospel to bed, as she has another thing to show. She hands over a wrapped present to Worm and tells her to put it next to Gospel's pillow. Worm gets emotional as she remembers that only good kids get a present and asks Mary if she really thinks that Gospel was good this year. Before Mary answers, she herself reveals the answer, that of course he was, so she puts the gift near cute sleeping Gospel. Chicago was looking at the calendar and shares that only a few days are left in this year. She suggests that they should try to clean up Lorm's place before the year ends. Miri is totally on board with the idea and suggests starting right now. Lorem and Fuga join as well, saying that cleaning is their specialty, like us. There's no way Chiharu believes this lie. Fuga is displeased and complains to Lorem about Chiharu's mean statement. Meanwhile, Chiharu still has not believing face everyone often puts up while hearing politicians promise to convince her. Fuga decides to let his actions speak. He picks up a jar of expired gem which they don't need anymore, and without a drop of hesitation throws it out of the window. Lorem tells him to calm down as it might hit someone. Instead, they should gather all their trash in a trash can. Both Fuga and Chiharu are amazed by Lorem's unexpected smartness. It's only 10 minutes into cleaning and Lorem and Fuga are already getting distracted over tiny things. Still, the most excited award goes to Gospel. Is always Leary arrives with a tiny shirt in her hands and asks if it is handmade. Chiharu remembers the shirt as she made that herself after Gospel was born. Since they didn't have any clothes for him, she shows her the wholesome picture of a new mom with her first child from when Gospel was born. They compare Gospel's old shirt to his current size, and there's no way it is going to fit now. Still, Lauren puts it into the treasure box, since it is a precious memory. Since the time Gospel was born, a lot has happened, and Lorem intends to make a bunch of memories this year as well. Chiharu then reminds them That they still haven't made any progress in cleaning starting the new year with fireworks is very human so. They decide to start their new year by watching the first sunrise not from the ground, but from above the clouds. Laura is holding Gospel, who is extending his wings and excitement, while Fuck is hopping on her back. Miri is flying with Chiharu in her arms, and when they finally reach above the clouds, Gospel's eyes sparkle like a star. Chiharu tells Lauren that people usually start off their new year with a goal. With that, Warm starts to think of some goals and decides that she wants to teach Gospel some speech, and she really wants to get better at making baby food. Upon hearing about baby food, Chiharu asks if it would mean Gospel's graduation from breastfeeding, and Lauren starts feeling lonely once again, thinking about how it's too early. Mary barges into the house with her usual cheerful greeting. But this time she has brought on a shidama for everyone. If you don't know what it means, it is the magical thing that adults often give to children, but it later disappears when their parents ask the children to leave it in their custody. Yes, the New Year's money envelope. She notices that Fuga is not in need of money, while Gospel does not even know what money, so she decides to give all of it to Chiharu. As a humble person should act, Chiharu politely refuses to take the money at first, expecting Mary to insist, but Mira immediately puts back the heavily loaded envelope with cash back into her purse. Don't know if she is humble, but she sure is an idiot. At least she didn't hide the immense regret on her face upon hearing Chiharu's voice. Lauren peeks at the main door to see Chiharu all covered up in snow, and she shares how the crazy snow made it difficult to come all the way here. Lauren shares that she loves snow and myriads. That Lauren has always loved snow since her childhood, when she used to dig into the snow like a cute puppy while she would sit by the fire. Lauren proudly accepts the insult as compliment and shares that she came to love eating cold things because of getting feverish all the time. Unfortunately, poor Miri had to follow her crazy sister as well. Seeing the entire neighborhood covered in snow, Warm decides to take Gospel out to see if he likes the snow as well. Gospel sits on his snow bed, and turns out that he really does like the snow. However, the snow soon disappears and Gospel gets nervous. Warm tells him not to worry, as it is because of his heat he starts sneezing, so Lauren takes him back inside. While being obsessed with his cuteness, Chiharu brings the diapers she bought for Gospel. Leary points out that even though Lauren wants to raise Gospel right, she hasn't bought any of his essentials herself. This precise observation strikes Lauren's heart like an arrow. Mary adds that if demons don't adapt to the human society, they might eventually go back to their old ways. If she does not want Gospel to have the same life as her, she should step out to go shopping herself. After stating her remarks, Mary announces that Lauren will go shopping by herself today. Chiharu tries to stand up for Laura, saying that it might be too soon for her. However, Miri shuts her down as well, blaming Chiharu for spoiling her sister, so she never does anything herself. Lauren realizes that sooner or later she will have to take care of everything herself, but there is a slight problem. Hesitantly, Lauren states that in order to go to a store, she needs to have the card that allows her to live with humans. Neri shows the permit that Lauren is talking about and adds that this permits her to go to the same stores as any human, and there's also places that specialize in the essentials for supernatural beings such as herself. When Miri asks where Lauren's permit is, Lauren responds that she does not have one. She can survive on her own even without the permit, but with Gospel around she needs to get one immediately, so Miri makes her order the application form immediately after completing the mail request. Mary informed her about a place where she can buy stuff even without the permit. These supernatural specialized stores are specially made for notorious demons like Worm can buy stuff so they can show their capability of living peacefully alongside humans. With that, Lore nervously gets up and heads off to the store, or should I say flies off to the store. After landing in front of Alice's shop, Lorem enters through their door and is amazed by the huge variety of products to choose from. Just then, a short-haired cute demon with a very formal outfit and gospel-sized tie greets Lorem and asks what she is looking for. Lorem somehow manages to explain what she needs, so the shopkeeper leads her to the desired section where Lorem finds many intriguing products like treatment spray for feathers and a cream for maintaining scales. Like a kid entering Playland for the first time, Lorem is having a time of her life while Chiharu is wondering if Lorem is doing fine. Also, the cute demon baby Chiharu is holding Mrs. Her mom Mary tells her not to worry, as the employee working at this store will make sure Lorem has a smooth experience, although she is not too positive about the manager. Upon hearing such a thing from Miri, Chiharu's interest is piqued, so she asks for more details about the manager. Neri explains her physical traits, while Chiharu tries to mentally picture her a slender figure with pink hair tied towards the sides and blindfolded eyes with spiky horns did not create a very nice picture of. The manager in Chiharu's mind, since her imagination is failing her, she decides to wait until she sees her for herself. While Miri is filled with excitement and inquiring about various products, the door opens, and this zombie-like demon enters. This is the manager of Alice's shop, whose name is surprisingly also Alice. The shopkeeper greets her while Lorem is wondering how Alice can see what is in front of her. Just then the manager asks if this customer is the person she thinks it is. She asks if this customer goes by the name Laura. The shopkeeper is curious to know how she knows Laura. Alice replies that she would have known Mormon too if she was from this country. She adds that not so long ago Lorem and the word violence used to go side by side. Even some of her stuff became the victim of her terror. Meanwhile, Lorem is sweating and shaking for doing so many things that she can't even remember now. Alice tells her not to worry since she has done some terrible stuff as well to survive, since the circumstances have changed now and the basic need of survival is money. Alice had to work very hard to set up the store. She realizes that Lorem has already quit her barbaric ways, so she tries to use this opportunity to get back at her by asking her to pay for the things she stole from her. Until she pays her back, she isn't allowed to shop here, even after exploiting the chance. Alice is still scared of Lorem, as she is a time bomb that can go off at any time. She is now regretting going too far. There's a long moment of silence where Alice is thinking about what she has done and realizes that the only thing she can do now is to now show Lorem any weakness. Meanwhile, Lorem is thinking about Mary's words about adapting to human society for gospel. Now whoever makes the first move between these two will win this intense one-on-one. Overthinking Bao, Lorem speaks first, and Alice is shocked to hear Lorem apologizing for everything she did back. Then after getting back to her senses, Alice hesitantly uses the calculator to figure out the amount Laura owes her. No, it's a big trouble when the 7 digits have commas in between them instead of dots. The debt turns out to be 1,000,000. Lorem hands her the purse Mary lent her, saying this is all she has right now. You know, the big trouble is not so big when you have a sister like Mary with this 2-centimeter thick bundle of notes. Alice shares that it's a bit less, but she will waive the rest. In actual, this money is much more than what Laura owes her after resolving the unsettled matter. Alice asks what Lauren wants to buy. Lauren picks out the cream for scale use, while Alice is confused as Lorem does not have any scales. Worm shares that it's not for her but for Gospel. When she asks who Gospel is, Lauren blushes, and with a red face with bright smile she responds that it's his son. Alice has the same confused reaction as if she came across an integration problem. Meanwhile, Lorem is explaining how cute her son of this size is. Once Lorem starts talking about Gospel, you can't stop her. She shares how Gospel called her mama for the first time recently. Alice, who remembers Laura missed the barbaric demon, could not believe her eyes. She is surprised to see how much becoming a mom can change a person. Alice laughs and tells Lauren to come with her son the next time, as she is excited to meet him. Lorem comes back home and is warmly welcomed by the non-resident babysitter, Chiharu, non-resident sponsor Miri, and the hero of Pretty Ladies Gospel. Lorem hugs her son after their long separation and shares that she really enjoyed shopping. She then apologizes to Marie for spending all her money because of the mistakes she made when she was younger. Leary tells her not to worry, as she expected something like that. Lauren promises her that she will pay back her hard-earned money. Mary immediately takes on her offer, and his Loki, astonished to see her physically mature sister finally becoming a mentally mature sister. Lorem then shows them the cream she bought for Gospel. Mary enters the house with a package inside of which are the application forms. She then guides Lauren to step-by-step instructions on filling up the forms. She adds that after her forms are processed, Lauren will undergo a physical examination followed by a final interview. Lorem is not so happy to hear such a lengthy process. Mary is not happy with Lorem not taking it seriously and shares that there is no shortcut around it and Lorem should take it seriously. Lorem gets scared and tries to calm her down, saying she does not have to get so angry. Mary continues to tell Warren what kind of circumstances the demons face. These days they wouldn't have decreased in number if they hadn't lost to the humans, even though she hasn't seen it personally, but apparently there's a well-known weapon used by humans that keeps demons from changing into their battle form, even with the ability to wipe them all out. They propose coexistence, and the condition for that is this hectic process. Lorem gets terrified upon acknowledging the reality and apologizes for her non-seriousness. They start filling out the first form with the applicant's basic information. Lorem's struggling expression while writing explains why her handwriting is so bad. She has no problem with reading, but writing is not her cup of tea. Next up is the identification picture. Miri takes her picture and tells her to smile for the camera by following the code of conduct of humans. She puts on the most awkward smile, and Miri takes the picture. She is constantly reminding herself that she has to do her best for Gospel, while Chiharu shares that they should take Gospel's picture. Now next up is the written note. Lorem demands for a simple explanation, So Miri explains that by signing this oath she agrees to adhere. To the contents written on the oath, the main point is basically not attacking humans. Lorem curiously asks what would happen if she broke the oath, and Miri responds that humans have a team of special forces ready at all times for such cases. She will be separated from Gospel. In that case, Lorem looks at Gospel to remind herself that since she gave birth to him, she has been living for his sake since, so for him she will accept anything in any oath. Everything is done for now, and they just need to send back the forms and wait for response. Mary apologizes to Lauren for going too far with the scolding earlier. She noticed that Lorem seemed really bothered, but Lorem tells her not to worry, as what matters is that they just took another step forward. Leary then starts preparing Lorem for the interview, where they will meet her to ask several questions. The notice arrives, and after looking at her case carefully, they have classified Lorem as a special supernatural observation target. This class is placed under special surveillance and is basically the group deemed too dangerous to be let them live freely. Shaharu asks how she can get the permit now, and Miri replies that if she seriously tries for the permit, she might be able to get it, but she will have restrictions like where she can live or work. Even Miri did not expect them to make such a decision solely on her application. Shaharu is worried and states that Lauren is doing her best to learn, and soon she will be able to interact like the humans do. Worm is having troubles in accepting this classification, but tries to see the silver line by saying that if Gospel gets to live normally, she has no problem in facing those restrictions. Miri then reveals that Gospel is also being classified as a special supernatural observation target. Lorem is shocked to hear this disturbing news. Leary shares that they can have them reevaluate the case by having a human act as a guarantee. Lorem asks if Gospel has been classified as such because he is her child with such obvious misery and trauma on her sister's face. Mary tells her that it was her own fault for being too naive, but she is going to think of some way to solve this problem. With that, Miri heads out of the house while grabbing the classification papers.